Humanity in space civilization among the stars. Where is home when Earth is nothing more than a bright blue dot? Imagine waking up, looking out of your window, and seeing Saturn's rings stretching across the sky. There is no sunrise, no sunset, no familiar horizon. The place where your grandparents were born is more than 1 billion kilometers away. Would you still call Earth home? Or would home become wherever humanity chooses to build its future? For centuries, space was a destination for explorers. Then, it became a laboratory. But eventually, it became something much greater, a place where humanity didn't just visit. We stayed. And once humans began living beyond Earth permanently, everything changed. Our cities, our cultures, our science, even our understanding of what it means to be human evolved in ways that previous generations could never have imagined. How would people raise children on Mars? Who decides the laws on a station orbiting Saturn? Can art exist in zero gravity? And if people born in space never set foot on Earth, are they still Earthlings? Let's journey into the future and discover how civilization among the stars became humanity's greatest chapter. By the year 2094, space travel is no longer reserved for astronauts and billionaires. Thousands of ordinary families live across the solar system. Permanent settlements thrive on Mars, scientific cities float in orbit around Earth and the Moon, mining communities work among asteroids, and research stations circle Jupiter and Saturn. But surviving in space wasn't just about building better rockets. The real challenge was building a civilization. One of the biggest questions was surprisingly simple. How do you know which direction is home when you're orbiting Saturn? On Earth, directions feel natural. North, south, east, and west are fixed in our minds. Even if we're lost, gravity reminds us which way is down. In deep space, those ideas disappear. There is no universal up or down. Every spacecraft has its own orientation. Every planet rotates differently. Every moon creates a different frame of reference. Early space navigators often joked that getting lost in space wasn't difficult, it was deciding what lost even meant. By 2094, advanced navigation systems solved this problem by creating dynamic spatial maps that constantly tracked every colony, spacecraft, and orbital station. Instead of using compass directions, travelers relied on reference vectors based on stars, planets, and artificial navigation networks. Children born in space learned these systems the same way Earth children once learned maps. Interestingly, asking "where is home" became less about geography and more about identity. For someone born on Mars, home wasn't Earth. It was Mars. That realization changed human culture forever. The second great wave of Mars colonization began after decades of trial and error. The first settlers had faced enormous hardships. Dust storms, radiation, equipment failures, and psychological isolation nearly ended humanity's dream of living on another planet. But every failure taught valuable lessons. Instead of competing, nations finally recognized that building another world required cooperation. A historic coalition formed, bringing together scientists, engineers, architects, medical experts, educators, and environmental specialists from dozens of countries. Rather than creating separate colonies, they built connected cities designed to support millions of future residents. These weren't temporary research camps. They were true civilizations. Schools educated children who had never seen Earth's oceans. Hospitals developed treatments specifically for low gravity. Universities created entirely new branches of science. Businesses flourished. Restaurants experimented with foods grown in Martian greenhouses. Sports evolved as athletes discovered what the human body could accomplish under only 1/3 of Earth's gravity. Imagine watching basketball where players leap several meters into the air, or gymnastics that seem almost magical. Mars wasn't becoming another Earth. It was becoming something uniquely Martian. Yet another challenge remained. How do humans live without sunsets? On many space stations orbiting Earth, the sun rises and sets every 90 minutes. Around Saturn or deep space habitats, natural day and night cycles disappear altogether. Our brains evolved over millions of years under Earth's predictable rhythm. Morning sunlight tells us to wake up. Darkness prepares us for sleep. Without those signals, the human body becomes confused. Early astronauts suffered insomnia, fatigue, mood changes, and declining mental performance. Scientists realized that artificial lighting would become one of civilization's most important inventions. Entire stations were designed with programmable skies. Lights gradually brightened to simulate sunrise. Artificial sunsets filled living quarters with warm orange colors before dimming into soft nighttime blues. Some habitats even projected realistic clouds, stars, and weather across enormous digital ceilings. Residents often forgot they were floating hundreds of kilometers above any planet. Psychologists also discovered something unexpected. People needed seasons. Communities created artificial spring festivals, autumn harvest celebrations, and winter holidays, even though temperatures inside the station never changed. These traditions reminded everyone that civilization is built not only from technology, but from shared experiences. And that raised another fascinating question. What happens to culture when gravity itself changes? Artists embraced possibilities impossible on Earth. Sculptures floated freely through galleries. Dance performances happened in 3 dimensions, with performers gliding gracefully through the air. Musicians composed pieces using sounds created by rotating habitats and life support systems. Architecture transformed into an entirely new art form. Buildings no longer needed to fight gravity. Rooms curved in every direction. Gardens climbed walls and ceilings. Water flowed through transparent tubes suspended in midair, creating living works of art. Space didn't erase creativity. It unleashed it. Many historians later called this period the Second Renaissance. Just as the original Renaissance transformed Europe through new ideas, the Space Renaissance reshaped humanity with discoveries that crossed every field imaginable. Scientists working in microgravity invented revolutionary medicines impossible to manufacture on Earth. Engineers designed materials stronger than steel, yet lighter than aluminum. Biologists studied how life adapted to different planets. Teachers connected classrooms across multiple worlds, allowing children on Mars to learn alongside students orbiting Saturn. Meanwhile, philosophers asked deeper questions than ever before. If humans permanently evolved to survive lower gravity, are they still the same species? Should colonies govern themselves independently? Can a person born on Mars truly understand someone raised on Earth? These debates filled universities, public forums, and international assemblies. The farther humanity traveled into space, the more we reflected on ourselves. Religion also found new expressions. Some people viewed the vastness of space as strengthening their spiritual beliefs. Others found meaning in humanity's responsibility to protect life wherever it spread. Many colonies created observatories where residents gathered simply to watch the universe together. Silence itself became a form of meditation. The stars no longer felt distant. They became neighbors. Daily life also changed in countless small ways. Children played games that used magnetic walls. Pets adapted to life in partial gravity. Families celebrated birthdays while floating weightlessly inside recreation chambers. Gardens became treasured community spaces because growing a single flower among the stars reminded everyone of Earth. Food developed into an entirely new culture. Fresh vegetables grown inside hydroponic farms became luxury items. Chefs invented recipes using algae, lab-grown proteins, and genetically adapted crops. Eventually, every colony developed its own regional cuisine. Mars became famous for spicy greenhouse vegetables. Lunar settlements specialized in fermented foods. Asteroid miners created high-energy meals designed for demanding work. Even language evolved. New expressions emerged to describe experiences impossible on Earth. People no longer said they were taking a walk around the block. They might say they were orbiting the neighborhood. Distance itself became measured differently. Instead of kilometers alone, people often spoke in travel windows, orbital opportunities, or launch cycles. Technology remained at the center of everything. Artificial intelligence managed life support systems. Medical nanotechnology monitored health continuously. Robotic construction teams built habitats before humans even arrived. Yet despite incredible machines, one lesson remained constant. Technology could build cities. Only people could build civilization. Communities thrived because neighbors trusted one another. Teachers inspired curiosity. Doctors saved lives. Artists gave meaning to everyday existence. Parents raised children with hope rather than fear. That human spirit became the most valuable resource in the solar system. Of course, challenges never disappeared. Radiation remained dangerous. Space debris threatened stations. Communication delays between planets tested relationships. Political disagreements occasionally emerged between distant colonies. But humanity had learned something powerful from centuries of history. Cooperation always outperformed conflict. Every successful colony depended on knowledge shared across planets. A medical breakthrough on Mars saved lives on Earth. Engineering discoveries near Saturn improved habitats around Jupiter. Ideas traveled faster than spacecraft. Perhaps that became humanity's greatest strength. The civilization among the stars wasn't built by one country, one company, or one generation. It was built by billions of people contributing small pieces to an extraordinary future. And maybe the most surprising discovery wasn't hidden on another planet. It was hidden within ourselves. We learned that humanity isn't defined by geography. It's defined by curiosity, by compassion, by imagination, by the courage to explore places where no one has ever lived before. So here's one final question. If your grandchildren are born on Mars, your great-grandchildren study beneath Saturn's rings, and your descendants eventually journey beyond our solar system, will Earth still be home? Or will humanity discover that home was never a single planet at all? Perhaps home has always been wherever humans dare to dream, work together, and build a better future. The stars are no longer just lights in the night sky. They are tomorrow's neighborhoods. And humanity's greatest adventure is only just beginning. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting videos.